So, Squid Game was a show that debuted on Netflix, and yeah, I know it came out back in September, but you know what? I was really busy and I couldn't watch the show fully until October. So, you know what? I'm reviewing it now and I don't care. So, Squid Game was a show that debuted back in September on Netflix, and it's about a group of people in South Korea who have a lot of trouble with debt, and basically, they're asked to participate in a series of games in order to win a whole bunch of money. Problem is, it's a bunch of kids' games where the losers die and only one person can win. So I didn't hear too much about this before going into. I mean, I did, but I didn't know about this until it started exploding on Netflix. It's like, oh, what's this Squid Game? Like, I think one of my friends mentioned, oh, Squid Game, you guys should check this out. This is really cool. And it's like, okay, sure. I'll get to it. And then it kind of just started exploding more and more on Netflix. So it's like eventually I just had to sit down and watch the entire show. And I am really glad that I got the chance to just watch this show. I thought it was really good. I thought it was really smart for the most part. And I think it's well acted. I think it looks incredible. It's a show that I can completely understand all the hype for it. So, mainly, let's start with what I liked. The concept of this is, it's interesting enough. Some people might consider it something like, oh, it's a lot like Battle Royale. It's a lot like Hunger Games. It's like, yeah, it kind of is. It kind of borrows elements of the plot, but I feel like it works enough to stand on its own at least. And I do like how it just ties into like how, there's a bunch of wealth inequality, not just in South Korea, but like it can kind of apply to a lot of the world, even in America. And I think that really helps with its universal appeal overall. Also, the games themselves are really creative as well. Some of my favorites, obviously, Red Light, Green Light. That was insane. Marbles was heartbreaking. The one where they had to cut the shapes out of the cookies. That is somehow really intense. They managed to make that really intense, and I'm really glad that they did. The tug of war is not as interesting to me, and I'll get to that. But I would say like 4 out of the 6 games I really enjoyed. I'll talk about the 2 that I didn't like in my cons. Also, the acting is really good. I'm gonna mispronounce a lot of these names, so I'm gonna try my best. Like some of my favorites were Lee Jung-jae. Again, I probably mispronounced that, but he was number 456. I thought he was really good. I thought he was really charismatic, even though he was kind of a screw up. I sympathized with him throughout the entire show, and I like his arc. Also, Jung Ho Yun, she was the defector. Thought she was really good. A lot of these characters I really liked, and that made it a lot more tragic when, spoiler alert, obviously, most of them die. It was really heartbreaking to see. Also, Oh Young-soo, who played Ilnam, I thought he was really good. Even though I kind of have some questions about his character, which I'll get to. And I love a lot of the dynamics between the main characters. They were really cool, really heartfelt, really well done. And I actually felt like these were real people. And it was so upsetting to see a lot of them go. And I was definitely very upset about that, obviously. Also, there's a lot of twists I thought really worked. Like, there's that whole subplot where it's like, oh, this guy's trying to find his brother, and he's infiltrating the games and all that. And you see at the end of this season, it's only like one season, but I don't know if there's going to be a season 2. But you see at the end, his brother is the one who's just doing the game. So I'm really curious to see how that's going to play. If like how that's going to happen and how that's going to work out in the second season, if there is one. I hope there is, kind of. And so I thought that really worked. Again, I really liked a lot of the conversations that they had. I liked a lot of the dynamics. It was all really good. And, of course, I gotta nitpick a few things. There's some things about this show that I just didn't care for. As I mentioned, 4 out of the 6 games I actually really liked. The 2 that I didn't care for were the title of the show, Squid Game, the actual Squid Game itself. I wasn't really impressed by that. But I guess it was more because of, the ending itself and like how, the 2 main characters just kind of went after each other. And it just felt like the game was secondary. Also, the tug of war, I didn't really care for that only because like most of the main characters were on the same side. So we kind of just figured that they were all going to win anyway. Which is unfortunate. And there's some slow moments, even though this show's only like 9 episodes. There's some slow moments every now and then. Also, there are some twists and some questions I just have. There's some twists I didn't really care for, and some questions that I have about it. So, obviously, if you've seen the show, you know that Il Nam didn't really have cancer, and that he, even though he was participating in the games, he was one of the ringleaders of the game, one of the people who created it, and is like, oh, me and my rich friends were bored, so we'll just do this. And I'm like, why? Like, why would you participate in these games if you're the creator? Are you really that bored? And, you know, looking back, like, even in something like Red Light, Green Light, you can kind of see him move, even though, like, you know, the doll's looking at them. And it's like, I guess looking back at it, it kind of made sense, but I just feel like it just wasn't as interesting, and the motive just wasn't really interesting. It's like, oh, I'm just bored. Me and my rich friends were bored. Okay, fine. Could have gone a little deeper than that, but hopefully we can, Season 2. Also, if Ilnam's the one who created these games, and why did he vote for everyone to get out of those games in Episode 2? It just kind of doesn't really make that much sense in retrospect, but overall, I do really enjoy the show, and I do enjoy the characters. Also, I feel like even though this series is 9 episodes long, they should have cut one episode, and that was the one with the Americans. It really should have been cut. It just seemed unnecessary. It just felt like it felt like the best thing to compare it to is the Stranger Things episode in season 2, which was just 11 just on her own. It was like that. It was unnecessary, should have been cut or reworked in some way. Just maybe don't do that. So overall, Squid Game, I do really enjoy the show. I thought it was very creative. I thought it kind of took elements from its concept that we've seen multiple times, kind of made it its own, kind of made it contemporary, kind of made it so it can be experienced by all global audiences. I love the acting. I love the characters. There's a lot of twists that work. There are some twists that just don't. Some games are better than others. And I'm kind of curious to see how they'll do Season 2. Because, like, I don't even know there's going to be a Season 2. Because this show really does set it up for a second season. And I don't know how that's going to work out. But hopefully we get a Season 2. Hopefully the creator knows. But we'll see. Right now I'll give Squid Game 3 out of 4 stars. See it. Even though you probably already have seen it. But I'm at least glad that I saw it. So, what did you think of Squid Game? What was your favorite game? Who's your favorite character? Also, what do you think will be in Squid Game Season 2? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat, and stay safe.